it is important that particularly people with a technical background put a lot of emphasis in understanding who may part with money in order to buy or subscribe to a solution they are trying to offer. Because when you come from a technology background, and myself, I'm such a person, you tend to overemphasize the importance of the technology. There's a sort of falling in love for the beauty, the elegance of the technology, the novelty of the solution and so on. And that tends to kind of overrule more mundane and pragmatic considerations such as, okay, it's beautiful, it's elegant, but at the end of the day, is it going to make money? And you'd want to know that a person, despite many years of training in a purely scientific technical subject, has that ability to switch mindset and look at its own creation from the other side of the fence, so to speak. I think the key secret to a successful pitch or presentation is understanding that it is a performance. And as any performance, you do not improvise. In the same way you don't improvise a theater play, you do not improvise a pitch where there's so much at stake. And what can be at stake? Well, from funding, money, to winning over the curiosity and interest of a person that might help you significantly in your next steps. So you don't want to take any risk. It's a performance, you have a limited time. Every single word that comes out from your mouth has to be carefully chosen. This is difficult for anybody, more so for non-native speakers like myself. So a very simple and effective thing to do is to script yourself. I found that the most apparently spontaneous speaker and more engaging and natural speaker I've come across, they were actually very heavily scripted. Every single word was very carefully rehearsed. Pauses, tone of voice, and everything was very carefully rehearsed. This is not cheating. This is doing it professionally. Now, the bar is so high that you're expected to do it this way. If you cut this corner, it's going to come to bite you. Presenting complex technology concepts that often underpin a clever solution of commercial relevance. So presenting those complex concepts in a way that is accessible to everybody, it's always a challenge. And there's a reason why very few people become very successful scientific journalists, because it is an art to an extent. Well, I'm afraid there's no shortcut. One of the fastest learning people have to go through as a scientist to learn to use non-scientific language. The best way of thinking how to explain something is assuming your partner, your wife, your best friend has a degree in art, for instance. How you will, doesn't have a degree at all. How you go about explaining that person what you're doing if you were given 30 seconds at a table. This is the best way of thinking. You can make it as complicated as you want. It's much more difficult and challenging to make it simple. So make it simple, you score more points if you keep it complicated. One key thing, the pitch is only part of the experience, because half of it is this potential scripted time where you give your performance. After that, you are in a pure improvisation territory, because the Q&A, the question and answer timer starts, and it may last as long, if not longer, than the actual presentation. You can prepare some default answer. You can have 2 or 3 key messages in the back of your mind that you want to try and drive every question towards. That's what politicians do. However, you're dealing with a very intellectually sophisticated type of people, particularly when you pitch to investors. They don't like to be taken for a ride and seeing their question not answered, or hijacked for you to make a different point. So with due respect, you need to try and stick to the original question. If you don't know the answer, be honest. There's nothing wrong in saying, sorry, I don't know this answer. I'm making my point to find out. Do you have any suggestion on how to answer this question? Do not try and pretend that you know something you don't know.